Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Jeanette McNeely. We are honoured to acknowledge Mr Gordon Ramsay, Minister for Seniors and Veterans, and the accompanying contingent from the ACT Veterans Advisory Committee. We are also honoured to acknowledge Rear Admiral Mark Dalton, Director, Maritime Operations for the US Pacific Fleet, United States of America, and the accompanying delegation. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. This evening, we welcome representatives from City of Fairfield RSL Sub-Branch and Fairfield RSL Youth Club. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors and students on behalf of the following schools. From New South Wales, Orange Christian School Secondary Department, and from South Australia, St Ignatius College, Athelstone. Please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Children, please sit. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places, and it would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Ray James Calliss Flower. Ray Flower was born on the 30th of November 1891 in Yongala, South Australia, the oldest son of James and Emily Flower. His father had a property at Stony Gap near Burra for many years, but later took over another property at Brayfoot in the same area, calling it Flowerville. The family moved there in 1907 and Ray was educated at Yongala School and went on to work at the farm with his father. The Flower family took an active part in the Iron Mine Methodist Church, where Ray was treasurer and a teacher in the Sunday school. He was also a member of the Christian Endeavour Society and the Church Mission Band. He took a keen interest in the welfare of the district and was a member of the Leeton Rifle Club, the Agricultural Bureau and the Borough Orchestra. Ray Flower enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in October 1916. After a period of training in Australia, he left for active service overseas with reinforcements to the 32nd Battalion. Flower continued training in England for several months before being sent to the battlefields of the Western Front in August 1917. The following month, the 32nd Battalion played a part in the Battle of Polygon Wood, during which time Flower was serving the battalion as a bomber. He was later attached to Battalion Staff Headquarters, where he served as a dispatch runner. Captain Kinks of the 32nd Battalion later wrote of being able to judge and appreciate his fine qualities and cheery disposition. In early July 1918, the 32nd Battalion was in France in immediate reserve. While days were spent bathing in the River Ancra or playing cricket, the men of the battalion also formed working parties to the engineers and tunnellers in the front line and undertook reconnaissance sorties to record routes forward. On the 6th of July, while probably engaged in one of these activities, Private Ray Flower was hit by a fragment of shell in the right knee. He collapsed and was taken to a nearby casualty clearing station, where he died peacefully of blood loss. Captain Kinks wrote, "I am proud of the lad, who has amply proved himself to be a soldier and a brave man. The staff is poorer by his going. His duty was always nobly and bravely done." Today, Ray Flower is buried in Vignancourt, British Cemetery, under the words, "In memory of the dearly loved son of J and E Flower of Burra. He was 26 years old." His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst more than 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. Today, his portrait is displayed beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Ray James Calliss Flower, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the sounding of the last post and the ode.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. Thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening.